Genesis 17, 1-27. While God's covenant with Abram was initiated by God, Abram is now told by God to circumcise all male boys when they are 8 days old as a sign of Abram's agreement to keep the covenant. Abram's and Sarai's name are changed to Abraham and Sarah, and God tells Abraham that he and Sarah will have a son who is to be named Isaac. God said, I will keep my promise to you and to your descendants in future generations as an everlasting covenant. I will be your God and the God of your descendants. Circumcision, a sign of the covenant. When Abram was 99 years old, the Lord appeared to him and said, I am the Almighty God. Obey me and always do what is right. I will make my covenant with you and give you many descendants. Abram bowed down with his face touching the ground, and God said, I make this covenant with you. I promise that you will be the ancestor of many nations. Your name will no longer be Abram, but Abraham, because I am making you the ancestor of many nations. I will give you many descendants, and some of them will be kings. You will have so many descendants that they will become nations. I will keep my promise to you and to your descendants in future generations as an everlasting covenant. I will be your God and the God of your descendants. I will give to you and to your descendants this land in which you are now a foreigner. The whole land of Canaan will belong to your descendants forever, and I will be their God. God said to Abraham, You also must agree to keep the covenant with me, both you and your descendants in future generations. You and your descendants must all agree to circumcise every male among you. From now on, you must circumcise every baby boy when he is 8 days old, including slaves born in your home and slaves bought from foreigners. This will show that there is a covenant between you and me. Each one must be circumcised, and this will be a physical sign to show that my covenant with you is everlasting. Any male who has not been circumcised will no longer be considered one of my people because he has not kept the covenant with me. God said to Abraham, You must no longer call your wife Sarai. From now on, her name is Sarah. I will bless her, and I will give you a son by her. I will bless her, and she will become the mother of nations, and there will be kings among her descendants. Abraham bowed down with his face touching the ground, but he began to laugh when he thought, Can a man have a child when he is 100 years old? Can Sarah have a child at 90? He asked God, Why not let Ishmael be my heir? But God said, No, your wife Sarah will bear you a son, and you will name him Isaac. I will keep my covenant with him and with his descendants forever. It is an everlasting covenant. I have heard your request about Ishmael, so I will bless him and give him many children and many descendants. He will be the father of 12 princes, and I will make a great nation of his descendants. But I will keep my covenant with your son Isaac, who will be born to Sarah about this time next year. When God finished speaking to Abraham, he left him. On that same day, Abraham obeyed God and circumcised his son Ishmael and all the other males in his household, including the slaves born in his home and those he had bought. Abraham was 99 years old when he was circumcised, and his son Ishmael was 13. They were both circumcised on the same day, together with all of Abraham's slaves. Yeah, so I don't know what Abram and Sarai mean previously, but the new name definitely indicates a change in their life because Abram before didn't have didn't have a son born by Sarah, and it was hard for him to have a son. Ishmael was, kind of like out of God's plan, and it was kind of like a side plan between Abraham and Sarah to have Ishmael born by Hagar. So, and he only had Ishmael, the one son. So now he is going to be a father of a multitude. God will bless him with that title. And Sarah is now a princess. So it's like royalty kind of like thing. And so I think of me, I usually consider myself to be a princess because I know that I'm a daughter of God. And so God is a king, and since I'm his daughter, I'm therefore a princess. So that makes me like, whenever I think about that fact, it always brings a smile to my face. It's not like to flaunt it off, but it actually shows me that I'm valuable and I'm worthy no matter what the world may think of me. And of course, like, as a stay-at-home mom who doesn't like work, I feel like I'm pretty much a social outcast most of the time. It's whenever you meet up with friends, they kind of talk about their work, and you don't really talk about your work, or I don't talk about my work. My work is pretty much taking care of the kids, and teaching them. So it's different. And then even my dad, he keep on telling me to put the kids into daycare and go to work. And my mom keep on telling me, oh, if you don't like go back to work soon, you're gonna lose your skills, and then you might not be employable anymore. And so like society, especially the American society, with all this achievement like oriented focus, kind of like really make me feel like not worthy, like if I'm a stay-at-home mom, even within my family members who, and my dad has a very I guess negative outlook towards people who are unemployed. So stuff like that. But then whenever I think about who I am in God's eyes, I know that this life that I've chosen, I actually, in college, when I met my husband, I told him that after college, I would like to start a family. And when we do have children, I will quit my job and I will be a stay-at-home mom so that I can invest my time in my children. I told him if we were to have children and we're not gonna, be invested in their growth, extremely invested, then I don't want to have children. So because it's a decision that we make, then I want, and we agreed to that before marriage. After marriage, I carried it out. I quit work, but the emotion that came with that decision, especially like after 2 years now into the process, it can be overwhelming. Sometimes it's very overwhelming. So I always, whenever I think about things in terms of God's perspective, it really makes me feel worthy, and I feel like this is all worth it. It's gonna be all worth it in the end. And to be there to experience the growth of my children and to be there as their first teacher. to mold them and shape them in a biblical culture first so that they have a strong foundation. Those are what is important to me. So then when I do that, my emotions, I guess my spirit is lifted up, and the emotional aspect, the bad, like negative, raw emotion doesn't affect me as much. So I definitely like the name Sarah, the meaning of Sarah. And it's definitely a change of status for her too, I think. So God's response to Abraham was a gentle and very, like, he explained to Abraham what, like, that's not his plan, but he recognizes Abraham's want to, bless his children. And so God promises Abraham that Ishmael will be the father of 12 princes. And so, like, was it father or ancestor? Father of 12 princes. And that God will bless his descendant, make them a great nation. So I think God's response was very loving, very accommodating, and he wants to bless us, and that's what I see. Amen.